Ladies and gentlemen, in today's lecture, we'll learn about Triune Brain Model. So, Triune Brain Model was given by American neuroscientist Paul D. MacLean. Paul D. MacLean, he formed this model in 1960 and later he propounded same model in his book, The Triune Brain in Evolutions. In his book, The Triune Brain in Evolution, he has given detail about the Triune Brain. Triune Brain consists of three parts of brain. The first is reptilian brain, which is ancient brain, and the second is our limbic brain, and the third one is known as neocortex. Neocortex is also known as executive brain. It performs functions like language functions, logical works, thinking, or decision making, and all our rational thoughts are controlled in our rational brain, which is also known as the neocortex. It is also known as our executive brain because it's control our rational brain. We've got a reptilian brain, which is the ancient one, and it is named with the ancient reptilian lizard, which is ancient one. It's also known like dinosaur. It can be named with lizard. It can be named with crocodiles. So this is an ancient one. So this part of brain evolved millions years ago, and it evolved. It's ancient one. It controls our instinctual need like physical response. It controls heart rate. It controls our body temperatures. It controls breathing, and it controls our temperatures and balance of our bodies. And it's also giving the fleeing and mating and sexual longings are all are controlled in our reptilian brain. Mostly our people, they behave through reptilian brain because it's instinctual one and it's easy to use this. It is also part of our subconscious mind because it's also working like subconscious mind. It's doing something unconscious and subconsciously. You don't need to think rationally, rather you are doing instinctual works. You can see people, they are fighting, they are road raging, and they are abusing, shouting and giving physical response like instinctual response without using their rational brain. The second one is the limbic system or limbic brain. This brain consists of like amygdala, it's hippocampus and hypothalamus. So these things control our emotional brains, and this brain is made for emotional response. So our three brains, part of our brains, like we have reptilian brains, we've got emotional brains, which is also known as the limbic brain, and the third one is executive brains. So three are made for certain reasons. God has made these brain for reason. For example, through reptilian brain we control our instinctual need like heartbeat, sexual longing, or blood pressures, and it controls our breathing system. It even controls our temperature, body balance, and mating and fleeing and physical responses. All are being controlled by the reptilian brain, which is just instinctual brain. So the other is the emotional brain, which gives emotional response. It gives you fight and flight mode. So it is also ancient one because in ancient time what happens, we were surrounded by many animals, and some animals, dangerous animals like tigers and lions, and they were attacking on human beings. So people were going group and they were going here and there in the form of groups, and they were doing and living in groups. And what happens when they feel dangers, they either fight or flee. So same way our emotional brain, it gives response. The main purpose of our emotional brain, it gives us triggers to save ourselves. So the primary functions of our emotional brain to save us. It always find pleasures and avoid pains. It helps us to give us pleasures, and avoid from pains, avoid from depressions, avoid from dangers. So whenever it feels any dangers, it just alarms us, it tells us, and we either fight or flee. And the third one is our rational brain, which is also known as executive brains. It control our rational thoughts, it's control logical thoughts. It is also known as young brain. It's a quite young brain because it is related to our rational thoughts. It give us language, it help us to grow socially. We increase a relationship, we build relationship, we create rapport, we create love, we create a relationship by using our rational brain, which is also known as executive brain. Mostly people, they are using instinctual and emotional brain because they are involved in it. So talk about the person, he fall in love. So this person does not use rational brain because it hijacks our rational brains, our emotions. They hijack our rational brain, and we are unable to use our rational brain. So the person who fell in love and he considers someone good, and whether he is doing bad, or he or she doing bad or good, or whatever he or she doing, we accept, we endorse, we say that this person is quite right, because we are not thinking through rational mind. It hijacks our rational mind and we started thinking through emotional brain. Second thing is that I want to explain our reptilian brain. So we are just sitting and we are reading, somebody comes and he triggers us, so he started abusing. We will give physical response, we'll fight to that person, or we use our emotional brain through anger. We either use anger, which is also part of emotional brain, we use anger, or we use instinctual reptilian brain, and we started responding physically or emotionally. So once we give emotional response or physical response, which is part of the limbic system or part of our reptilian brain, it is not conscious response, it will be subconscious response. But when we are using a rational brain, we give conscious response. So by understanding this Trine model by Paul D. MacLean, it helps you to evaluate people. When you talk to the people, you can learn whether a person is using a rational brain or he's using his emotional brains. So you can evaluate the person, you can come to know a person using rational brain or emotional brain or reptilian brains. Mostly people use reptilian and emotional brain, avoiding from the rational brain, because the rational brain demands thinking, it demands logic, it demands language, it demands abstract thoughts, and through abstract thoughts you will be taking logical decisions. So people mostly spend their autopilot life, which is part of the reptilian brain, which is part of the emotional brain's autopilot, subconscious, unconscious life, rather than conscious life through our rational brains. I hope today's lecture you learned about emotional brain, rational brain, and instinctual brain, which is known as the reptilian brains. If you ever use your emotional, rational, or your reptilian, if you ever use your conscious brain, your subconscious brain, your reptilian brain, your emotional brain, or your rational brain, please comment on our video and we will give you response. Stay blessed and have a nice